Hello and welcome to our WIFR Fastcast. I'm Daniel Burbank. The Rockford Education Association launches a hotline for parents and community members to contact RPS Superintendent Aaron Jarrett regarding the current contract negotiations. This comes after the union launched an email campaign that got more than 8,500 responses to board members and Jarrett to reach a deal. Union members voted to strike last month, and leaders say several issues are at the bargaining table, including retirement benefits, working conditions, and retroactive pay. That hotline is 1-866-806-7794. WIFR's Alyssa Kelly speaks to the union president, Claudia Marshall, on why the hotline sends a message to the board. RPS Superintendent Aaron Jarrett says schools are unlikely to make up several days in the event of a strike, but could lose needed instructional days. Jarrett says that means the loss of wages for REA members and instructional time for students. He also emphasizes that the district plans to run all elementary, middle schools and special programs at high-quality spaces so students can get fed and the transportation they need to succeed. Jarrett says he hopes to resolve any differences with the REA so no teachers will hit the picket lines.
I think one of our real gaps is the affordability issue, and the district is definitely in a situation where we believe we are maxing out what we can afford to do from a long-term perspective in terms of avoiding long-term programmatic restrictions and reductions. And so we are serious with the offer we have on the table.
Keep saying things are going good at the table. They're not. They haven't gone good at the table. If they had, we wouldn't be here. We would have a settled contract. So we've had such good movement. Are they scaring the community with strike words, scaring our members with cost analysis? Why? Nobody said strike yet.
A Winnebago County judge sentences a 23-year-old man to 26 years in prison for trying to kill a man in August 2024. Miavante Cooper shot a man in the back while he was sleeping in the 1000 block of Minns Drive in Machesney Park. Winnebago County Sheriff's deputies heard gunshots in the area and saw Cooper driving away from the area. The man was taken to the hospital for his injuries. Security camera footage caught Cooper as he climbed onto his car onto the second-floor balcony where he shot the man. He must serve 85% of his sentence and will be under supervision. Well, documents shed light on Michael McKee, the man accused of killing his ex-wife and her husband in Ohio. A written statement claims Monique Tempe told her friends and family that her ex-husband was abusive and threatened to kill her during and after their marriage of less than 2 years. According to another witness, McKee said he could kill Tempe anytime, at any time, and he would find and buy the house right next to her, and that she will always be his wife. A protest is set for 6 in the evening on Monday at Centennial Park after taking action in Rockford. Organizers say the gathering is because of an ICE agent shooting deaths in Minneapolis and a lawsuit filed against the Rockford police in the beating of a teenager. I will be live from that event at 5 and 6 o'clock. The Illinois Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Amazon officials announce a collaboration with Ring Camera. The Illinois organization gets and sends out 1,000 cameras to domestic violence survivors across the state. Ring also donated $25,000 for the support. Attorney General Kwame Raoul says the cameras not only give a peace of mind for survivors, but also assists in the prevention of further harm.
These cameras do more than allow survivors to monitor who is coming and going from their homes. Survivors can document any order of protection violations. That extra tool can help survivors if they go to law enforcement. Ring cameras can be key to giving survivors the peace of mind that allows them to sleep more soundly.
Well, welcome to Moving In and Moving Out, our streaming spotlight series of the ever-changing business landscape of the Rockford region. Each week, we'll introduce you to new businesses putting down roots in our community while also honoring the legacy of those closing its doors after years of service. It's about growth, change, and the stories behind the storefronts. Join us every Monday. This week, WIFR's Maggie Polsine and Tyler Walkup get a behind-the-scenes look at a new store opening its doors in Rockton, the Prairie Street Mercantile.
Are you on the hunt for vintage treasures, antiques that'll stand the test of time? Prairie Street Mercantile in the heart of Rockton is the place for you.
It's just been like little by little, fast, but little by little. It's just come together so well. Just maybe it's luck, I don't know. It's just meant to be.
Owners Kate and Andrew Vaughn have been grinding away, making their lifelong dream come true, pouring months of time, work, and love into the vintage store. But the idea for Prairie Street started long before they signed the lease for their building in December.
We were married 25 years ago, and on our honeymoon, we stopped by a lady who was having like an antique sale. And she taught us pretty much the business, all about antiques. We just had a knack for it. And we started selling on eBay for her, and it's just evolved from there through the last 25 years.
Over those 2 decades, the Vaughns have lived across the globe as Andrew served in the U.S. military. From Texas to South Korea, antiques came with them everywhere.
We have a large eBay store that we have traveled even to Korea with. So when we lived in Korea, we brought, the eBay business with us, and we were able to do some of that there. That has been the in-between, but now we're ready to settle and do what we like best, which is antiques.
So they're putting down roots in the state line and chose to open the store in Rockton, drawn in by the strong sense of community and appreciation for antiques.
When we moved back here, we were really drawn to Frosted Farmhouse down the street and Whitney, and we had looked for a booth, and she was full because she has amazing vendors. And so she suggested that we should open down here. And I was like, wow, that's a big step, but maybe we should.
And kind of keep going back to Whitney. She was she's very well known in the antique community. And she just puts it out to everybody. Said, hey, if you want an extra space or you want a new space or a first time space, why don't you go ahead and give these guys a call?
It just ended up working out. So here we are, full of great vendors, and glad to be bringing more antique shops to Rockton.
The store officially opens February 5th, and one thing that was important to Katie as she put the store together was making sure every item here was thoughtfully curated. As you look around, you'll see displays of antiques designed with specific themes or colors, everything arranged with both beauty and browsing in mind.
It's supposed to be inspiring to decorate your home with. So if you go through here and you like a certain type of look, a vendor is going to put together things that would go together well, so you could transform it right into your house. That's the whole feeling of it, is just to make it easy for people to shop that are looking for specific themes. Also, each of these spaces is a different vendor, so they're also bringing their own creativity to the spaces and what they like to see in their houses and shops.
The inventory is always changing, but you'll always be able to find home decor, dishware, and something unique.
It's a little store, but it has a lot of heart in it, and we might eventually even open up more spaces in the back. So, we're hoping that people like it as much as we do.
And as a veteran-owned business, it's important for them to know others can do the same.
I think it's important to also show some veterans that there's all sorts of opportunities you can do in service and when you exit service. So this is just one of them. And maybe it'll inspire other guys and girls that want to do it.
This business has always been something we could connect with. It's always been just a great interest to both of ours. So I'm glad that I could be a part of it, in any way, shape, or form. She obviously knows the antique side of it far more than I do. But yeah, I'm happy to fill in where I can and do whatever I can. She always has the wonderful ideas, and thankfully I've always had a good handyman background, so I can make them happen.
Everyone is just helping everyone here. That's the biggest takeaway from this little venture for us, is that everyone's just been so helpful in guiding us when we needed assurance and, assistance. Seeing everyone come in and look at the shop. We've done sneak peeks for the last few weeks, and we've just put our heart and soul into it, I just want to see what everyone thinks.
Shop small, support the local community, and find some treasures along the way.
Prairie Street Mercantile is located at 122 South Prairie Street in Rockton, and its grand opening is this week, February 5th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As part of our We the People series on WIFR, a Connecticut lawyer's legacy in civil rights movement, Tracy McCain sits down with the lawyer who represented several iconic figures.
That photograph is of my Aunt Constance and my mother.
Judge Constance Baker Motley's story is told best through her niece, and it's one few people know.
They were not rich. They were very poor.
It starts in New Haven.
She was a very good student, and she graduated from Hill House with honors.
A Yale philanthropist sent her off to college in the South, where she was forced to switch into a separate train marked colored.
It was something that she had never experienced, and it really shook her. So this is 1948.
Oh, so way before civil rights.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She carried that experience with her to NYU, then to law school and into history, working alongside Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
She represented Martin Luther King, got him out of jail.
Part of his inner circle, they marched to Washington, where King delivered his famous speech.
Free at last! Free at last!
They were all fighting the same battle.
Motley fought most of her battles in court.
With Brown v. Education, I mean, that ruling changed everything.
That's very much part of her legacy.
The Supreme Court ruling ended segregation in public schools, but history often forgets Judge Baker Motley's role in that case.
She did not get any credit for having anything to do with Brown v. Board of Education, although she did write the original complaint.
In 1957, she successfully argued the case, enrolling the Little Rock Nine, and then this.
This is a special report from CBS News.
President Kennedy sending the National Guard to help integrate the University of Mississippi.
Ole Miss, where James Meredith was, prohibited until she showed up to litigate that case where people died.
She was the first black woman to argue before the U.S. Supreme Court. 10 cases, 10 wins. But it didn't come without fighting battles of her own.
Even in courtrooms where lawyers and other court personnel would not address her or would not speak of her with respect. She got nasty letters calling her horrible names.
In 1966, President Lyndon Johnson appointed her the first black woman federal judge, inspiring her niece and other black lawyers following in her footsteps.
Everything she did, the sacrifices that she made, the changes she brought to this country are all important for history.
Yeah.
2 years ago, the nation paused, unveiling a forever stamp in Judge Motley's honor.
It felt like the country had finally recognized the significance of who she was.
But Judge Motley's greatest legacy isn't stamped in ink. It lives on in the niece who continues to lift up her name.
If we don't tell the story will be lost. And I think in this day and age, the stories have to be told.
Tracy McCain, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Woodstock Willie predicts in early spring after he did not see his shadow Monday. Woodstock celebrated Groundhog Day all weekend long with its annual festival. It honored the town's starring role in the 1993 movie Groundhog Day.
This February 2nd at 7:07 a.m., Woodstock Willie, the seer of seers, prognosticators of prognosticators, emerge reluctantly but alertly in Woodstock, Illinois, to wish the faithful followers a happy Groundhog Day. And here we go, folks. Willie looked skyward to the east, then behind to the ground, and stated clearly in Groundhogese, "I definitely do not see a shadow."
And some cheers there. It has been a cloudy day to start the week, but the sun will make an appearance for our Tuesday. This is a quick look at the forecast there. See pretty much partly cloudy skies across the board with the latest data. This is a big warm-up from how it was last week. At least we get to see the 20s, maybe even the 30s, it looks like, by Thursday and Friday for weekend plans. Still below freezing, but at least there's another warm-up, even closer to 40 degrees on Monday. We have those stories and more coming up on the shows this afternoon and evening. Make sure to download our WIFR app on your TV at home. We're also available on Amazon, Roku, and Apple TV. Thank you so much for watching.